Okay, well, hi there, folks. Old Holy Smoking Pipe Padre here, and little little tech review here. This is not the iPad Pro, and this is my MacBook Air, but this happens to be my new, if I can do this here, this is this new kind of a quasi MacBook. This is the MacBook Air, but not the MacBook. I'm sorry. The iPad. This is the iPad Air 2, and but I'm trying to do a poor man's version of the iPad Pro, which just came out a few days ago. So as you know, the iPad Pro has a stylus. Well, I just got this bamboo stylus to use. Haven't tried it out yet, but it looks like it's very promising. And it even has a clip, which is the Apple Pencil does not have a clip, so you can stick it in your pocket. Okay, pretty important stuff there. Sticking it in your pocket, that is. Okay. And let's see here. I'm going to launch iMovie. There we go. Hopefully. Yeah, there I am. Old Holy Smoking Pipe Padre. Yep. A few videos I've done there. So anyway, but also you can do what you can do with the iPad Pro, I guess, is you can do this. If I can take this here, and you can take it off the keyboard. So there you go. And that's one of the cool things about this. This is a cover, but it's also it fits into. Well, that's kind of cool. All right, so there's the keyboard there. It's not backlit, I don't believe, like the iPad Air is. But you can't get everything. That would be pretty cool if it had been backlit. But anyway, so I'm just doing a little product review here. There I am there. Maybe you can see me waving over there. My little holiday table there. But anyway, so I've got this kind of my version of the poor man's version of an iPad, an iPad Pro. So there you go, little product review there. All right, more in a moment. Well, howdy there, pipe pals. How are you doing tonight? Old Holy Smoking Pipe Padre saying hello, pipe pals. That's my pipe there. Well, as you're seeing here, this is the new iPad Pro Mini. That's right. Where did this bug come from? Doggone it. And next to it is, oh, I see, it was a little bug on my stand here. Anyway, next to it, of course, is the iPad Air, new version of the iPad Air. But this is not really the iPad Pro, but it is, as I'm going to show you, a poor man's version of that. I have this new stylus here, when you can see that it can do some pretty cool stuff. Let's see, I'm going to go down here, and it's hard to kind of, I'm kind of trying to do. All right, so I'm going to erase that. Erase that. That was my little smiley face. That's my pipe right there. See? Hello, pipe pals. So I can go like this. Hopefully, oops, no, I can't do that. There we go. There's a little smiley face for you. Okay, so here we are. We got this bamboo stylus, which works perfectly. This is the iPad 2 Air, and it's on what's called a ZAG case. Laptop kind of keyboard there. Really nice keys. They're not backlit, sad to say, but anyway. Okay, I got a message from somebody, I think. Okay. Anyway, but I just wanted to show you that this actually kind of mimics in some ways the iPad Pro, because it does this. It comes apart, and now you can just do your iPad just like that. Okay, so I'm pretty excited about this. Let's see if I can do this here. Okay, I'm going to close this app here. I'm going to go to messages, and I got a message from my dear friend Katie. Okay, I'm going to look at that real quick. Just got home from helping with a fundraiser at Corpus. Exhausted. Okay, well, there we go. Okay, great. So let me go back to putting it back in its case. There we go. So that's pretty cool, I think. So we'll be now we're going to make our little pipe video for today. So over here you can see real quick, this is my iPad Air, MacBook Air I should say, MacBook Air, and the iPad Air. And it's interesting because both of them are pretty much similar. Yeah, that's pretty amazing. So this is the answer here to the Microsoft Surface and the new iPad Pro. So the the Windows Surface Pro and the iPad Pro. So this is a poor man's version of that. So there you go. There you have it. Okay. So let me kind of start over here with our little pipe video. It's been a while. Let me see if I can refocus this. I don't know if this is going to work or not. Let's see. Let me focus here. I've got okay. It is I, Holy Smoking Pipe Padre. Had to do a little tech there. Let's see if I'm going to get this up here just a little bit more. Okay. Okay, so anywho, it's me, and I'm back. See, the last video I made was on. Oh, I can see this in the mirror there. That's good. Okay. I always get skunked out by technology. Okay, how you doing there? Looks like it's working there. I can see it in the mirror. But anyway, smoking some sweet Killarney. And it is very tasty, I have to say. And I got a iced coffee here with a little bit of cream. And life is good. Life is real good. Okay. So anyway, I've been playing with some technology here, as you can plainly see. It's been it's been a couple weeks now almost, since my last video, which was on Halloween. And let's see, today is Friday the 13th. That's kind of a nice little kind of a transition, right? So from Halloween, Friday the 13th, and the next big thing will be Turkey Day. Yeah, Turkey Day. So, I don't know if you can see in the background, I got my, you can see my background lights there. My little, they're not really Halloween lights, really. Those are autumn harvest kind of lights. So it's still appropriate to have those going for the next couple of weeks. So anyway, I'm just enjoying a little bit of solitude this evening. It's been, okay, maybe those of you who watched the last video. By the way, I wanted to say two things. One, I want to apologize. Well, first of all, let me say thank you to all of you who have been so gracious in making comments on the videos. And I really enjoy those comments, and many of you are very thoughtful and respectful. There was a couple people that kind of, shared with me their feelings and their views on things. And although we're not probably in parity here, there are people that certainly have different views and different positions on some of the issues I sometimes talk about. And I respectfully respect your opinion, even though I may not subscribe to it. Again, I do respect your right to hold to your beliefs. So there you go. What was I going to say? Oh, I was going to show you one other thing about the iPad. The iPad with this case that I've got, the detachable case, which I really like. Anyway, you can fold it, and it just folds up just like that, nice and neat. And I have a iPad mini that has a case similar to this, but the problem is that it's kind of locked into the case. And the reason why I like this case is because it is detachable. It's detachable. So, although I have, I mean, and also the other case I have, yeah, I have another, an older iPad, and it has a detachable case as well. So it's not that, it's not that bad, really. It's kind of funny, actually, when I think about it. It was the very first iPad. Was it the iPad? The first iPad with Retina display. Anyway, it was either that, the very first iPad with Retina display, or the one that came out after that one. But anyway, it had a Logitech detachable keyboard. I'll have to check that one out. It's a bit heavier. But anyway, the bottom line is that I've been curious about the stylus that the new iPad Pro is coming out with. No, I digressed a little bit there. I'm sorry. I'm just looking at my image in the mirror so I can see the back reflection of the iPhone that I'm using to make the video with. So I'm like getting a little bit like, okay, I'm trying to talk about pipes, technology, and I'm going to be talking about my 2 months and going on my keto diet. Yeah, we talked a little bit about that in my Halloween video when you saw the bowl of candy. The big bowl of candy for the trick-or-treaters here in my new parish, my new rectory. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, boy, sweet Killarney is truly sweet. I hope I don't spike my glucose or my blood sugar by drinking. It's late. Yeah. But I wanted to just get back to my comments. Many of you wrote comments, and I'm sorry I have not responded. I will try to, if it's not too late, maybe just give a little, attaboy or thanks for watching, thanks for commenting in a few days. I'm actually going to be going, taking a little bit of some time off. I don't actually call it vacation because I'm actually going to be kind of possibly having to do some services for a few people, and it's just going to be, it'll be less office work, and I will have some personal time. I'm going to go visit some friends, take some day trips, but I'm still going to be I will be coming back for Thanksgiving Day. And then I'll probably go down to some dear friends down in the Fairfield area, Vacaville area. And so I'm looking forward to that. Might have my buddy Don come over in a couple of days, and maybe he and I might make a video. I don't know if we'll make a video or not, but it'd be kind of nice if we could. Oh, man. So anyway, yeah, I've been curious about the iPad Pro, and the reason why I am not, and I know I've said this before with a lot of Apple products, I'm not going to get, I wasn't going to get the Apple Watch. Yeah, right. Okay, I didn't get the Apple Watch. I got the Apple Watch. Yeah, there it is. I got the Apple Watch. Okay. Did you see that? That was my Apple Watch. So, at the time, but I don't really know if I. The problem is that with the iPad Pro, it's not really for me. When we say Pro, at least when we used to say Pro, you think about the Mac Pro or the MacBook Pro, and what does that mean? It means it does all the Pro applications. It has Final Cut Pro, Motion, Compressor, Logic Pro, all those Pro apps, all those Pro creative apps, to include also Adobe Photoshop, probably Adobe Illustrator, maybe Lightroom. At the time, Aperture was also a Pro, considered more of a Pro app. And I think it's a bit embarrassing. And as a diehard Apple fan, I've got some real concerns nowadays, because Apple it doesn't seem like it just seems like the products and even the software are not as polished as they once were. And again, they're trying to appeal on a large spectrum of products to a large group of users who have different needs and different workflows. So if you're doing video editing, you have obviously a different workflow and a different creative palette than, say, somebody who is into graphic design, as opposed to somebody who does photography, or somebody who is actually doing multimedia stuff and going over all those different cross platforms. So it's probably next to impossible, obviously, to bring the kind of professional polish and integration that Apple kind of did for many years, and they seem to be slipping on some things kind of big time. Yeah, the iPad Pro doesn't really run Apple Pro programs. And it's like, wait a minute, you call it the iPad Pro, and it doesn't run Final Cut Pro. It doesn't do Motion. So okay, so why are you calling it Pro? MacBook Pro was called Pro because it could run all those professional programs, and that's in a portable environment. Pretty awesome stuff, still is. But anyway, so and then the whole thing about a stylist. I got to say, I'm not 100%. I mean, I think it's a cool little interface device. But the iPad originally was to get away from keyboards, mice, and any kind of other third-party interface piece of equipment. This was anathema to Steve Jobs. Now, in his memory, the reason why I got an iPad. At first, I wasn't going to get one because I said, "Hey, I really do have." I had a MacBook and a MacBook. I had a MacBook Pro, and I had I had a MacBook, and then I had the Mac Pro, and I had an iMac. So I had those three, and I'm just thinking, well, what do I need an iPad for that doesn't really do everything that a laptop does? Well, to me, you had to experience an iPad to appreciate what it really was all about. And the wonderful, magical thing to me about an iPad, and still is, this is your graphical interface right here, folks. This just was so, I thought, revolutionary and so phenomenal that you could manipulate, control programs, and all sorts of things with your fingers. This was the input device. So why would you want to go from an organic, natural, wonderful, human, tactile experience to putting a stylus back in your hand? But it turned out that when people started saying, well, I want a bigger keyboard. I want another way to, interface with it. Because I think the keyboard the digital keyboard, the virtual keyboard, wasn't just, I don't know, it just, some people liked it, but a lot of people just didn't like it. And again, the iPad has always been more of a consumer consumption device, not a creation device. So that's why a lot of people still use their laptops. And that's why I think the Microsoft Surface really has a bit of an edge right now. I'm not saying it's a huge game changer for Apple. In fact, the iPad Pro, well, even the iPad Pro is not really on par fully with the Microsoft Surface Pro. I guess it's called the Surface Pro. And then the iPad Surface 4. Anyway, so the bottom line is, sorry for about the ramble on tech, folks, but I just, that's part of what I like to do. And I haven't been making a lot of videos lately, only because I've been so kind of busy with a lot of other things going on in the parish, and I've been actually negligent of making even my little Catholic religious videos. I would like to get back to that. But anyway, so today I wanted to see, after kind of thinking about it, do I want to try and do a poor man's version of the iPad Pro? And I'm pretty happy with this, to be honest with you. I mean, this really is okay. The little bamboo Fine Line 2, I guess it's called the Bamboo Fine Line 2 stylus pen. It's really, again, I don't know what the iPad Pro really is all about, so I can't really compare it. But at the same time, most of it is sort of like, I think what the iPad Pro really is designed to be is more of a on par with the Cintiq, the Wacom Cintiq drawing pad, which is basically a big. It came out before the iPad Pro, but it's got even larger canvases, than the iPad Pro, and it's basically designed for, I guess, Adobe Photoshop and all those other truly professional graphic design programs. I mean, so a lot of people who have been drawing digitally with a stylus on those Cintiq pads or screens, I would say those people, the Wacom people, they kind of have an edge on both Microsoft and Apple. Apple and Microsoft are kind of late to the game. Those people have been doing it for several years now. I know that the Wacom people have had the Cintiq for at least 4 years, and maybe a little bit longer. I don't know, but they had massive tablets, drawing tablets. So I would probably, to be honest, if I was going to put down some serious money, I might go that route instead of an iPad Pro. But then again, because again, I don't have a need for an iPad Pro. What I like about this is I can actually, once I figure it out a little bit more, you can actually take notes on your iPhone or your iPad, handwritten notes, which is kind of cool. That's pretty awesome. And I think there's probably maybe even an application that can actually decipher your handwriting, possibly. I'm not 100% sure, but I know I've seen some apps or programs that can kind of do that. But again, you'd have to train it, It's sort of like the dictation function. You can do speech to text nowadays, and that's kind of an awesome thing as well. Like the Dragon digital dictation thing. So anyway, that's my little rant on tech here. By the way, the weight of these two little machines here, my mock iPad Pro and my MacBook Air, they're just about the same weight. The Air might be a little bit lighter, but not much. It's almost. They're almost the same. Yeah, they're almost the same. So anyway, weight-wise, that's kind of cool. But I think it's kind of fun. So I think I have both the capabilities that I would ever want. And again, as far as getting an iPad Pro, it would be a kind of a bulky thing. Now, unless I really decided I needed something for graphic design, and I'm not a graphic artist, so I wouldn't really have a need for one. So anyway, to be honest with you, that's probably one Apple product that I just don't see a true need for. If I ever did make a bigger purchase, and again, I'm not even sure if I would even go this route right now, as the Mac Pro, what I call the Darth Vader Mac. You know, the black. Some people call it the trash can Mac or whatever. The black shiny Mac Pro that came out several years ago now, almost 3 or 4 years ago. So again, it'll be interesting to see if Apple either gives an upgrade to the Mac Pro, the new Mac Pro, or if they just discontinue it. Again, it's a desktop. The iMac, Retina display, 5K Retina display, 27-inch is pretty awesome. It's a pretty awesome machine, and it runs Final Cut Pro, and you can get it all souped up to really do some amazing things. So I'm not sure if the old Mac Pro is long for this world. So as much as I love my original Mac Pro, it still runs. All I need to do is probably upgrade the hard drive, and so I can free up some necessary writing space on the old hard drive, which I need to do. Anyway, the bottom line is that technology is constantly changing, and a lot of the things are obsolete. One of the things I want to say technologically wise, that the new keyboards and the new trackpad came out for the Mac, and they're a little lightning port now. You just plug them in and then they charge, and you don't have to use batteries anymore. And the trackpad's good. It's got that 3-dimensional extra press, so when you press down harder, it can bring up more menus, and it can do more. Has more options, I guess. What I think is interesting, though, is the mouse, the new quote-unquote magic mouse, too. I mean, I bet you Steve Jobs literally is rolling over in his grave. They did something stupid. I mean, absolutely stupid. And I mean, I'm going to have to say this. Okay, with the trackpad and the keyboard, you can charge them while you use them, but not the new mouse. They put the charge port on the bottom, so you have to stick it on there and let it charge for an hour or two, and you can't use it like you would be able to. You plug something in, you can use it while it's charging. That makes sense. Man, I cannot imagine the person that designed this thing, and I have a feeling that what happened was they just weren't paying attention. It's like, well, it's a mouse. Come on, Apple basically, a mouse is a mouse, and you understand that there's just a basic functionality of the thing, and so they probably gave it to some junior person, and just assuming that he had the common sense to realize that you got to make it practical even when it's charging. And so probably by the time they got ready to ship it, they were like, wait a minute, where's the charge port on this thing? And they found out it was probably at the bottom. It was probably way too late. It had probably already gone through all of the. Everybody probably just, it was a Friday or something when they went through and checked off the last schematics and said, yeah, it's good. And nobody really looked at that. But talk about a real blunder. Even I, designing something, would realize, oh, you can't put it there because, it'll charge, but you can't use it while it's charging. And that's part of the thing about some of these Apple products, is that you can charge them use them while they're charging. That's kind of the beauty of some of these things. It makes sense, and you don't want to just sit there and charge something and you can't use it. Like even this little thing here, it charges right in the back. So if you had to connect a cable to it, the cable they have is kind of small, but theoretically you could get a little bit of an extension. You could plug it in and still use it. Even if the NiCad battery in here starts to wear out, you could still theoretically have it plugged in and still use it, if you had to do it that way. But the new Apple Magic Mouse, you can't use it if it's charging. So And I picked one up at the store, and it's identical in weight and functionality. There's nothing except it has a stupid port at the bottom when you can't use it. So I'm thinking, you know what? I don't think I'm going to get that. that's another Apple product. I'm just going to say I'm not going to get it. There's no need for that. I mean, I'd rather just put a set of batteries in the old mouse because it's exactly identical. So there's no new functions to the new mouse. So it's just how it's charged. And anyway. So okay, so let me get on to the last thing tonight. My ketogenic diet. Now, I kind of digress here a little bit, but I had in my last video, I had a bowl. A bowl of candy. And I got to be honest with you, I love candy. I love sugar. It's one of my biggest downfalls. And up until 2 months ago, I was having little sugar fixes periodically, which is probably why, I certainly gained about 10, 15 pounds. But, so I have been, even to this date, I'm happy to say I've been in ketosis for over 2 months now. Woohoo! And, that bowl of candy, I didn't have one trick-or-treater. Kind of felt a little left out, not one trick-or-treater. I had cool music, and I had a cool monk costume. Maybe I'll throw in a picture if I can find it. Not a single person came. So I was a little disappointed. But the next morning, I had that big, huge bowl of candy, and it had a lot of good candy treats in there that I love. And I knew that this was going to be a little bit of a hurdle for me because usually on Halloween I give myself permission. Even the last few years when I've been losing weight and trying to get in shape, I've given myself permission from time to time to have treats. But the problem is I would maybe have a treat every 2 weeks, One of my favorite cakes is the chocolate overflow cake from Nugget. It is without a doubt the most luxurious, delicious thing in this world. And but I haven't had one of those in months, probably at least 6 months. Well, maybe even longer, because I don't live down there anymore where I could buy them like I used to be able to buy them once a month and indulge. So anyway, the bottom line is that I did not have any candy at all. So I took the bowl of candy we have our CCD kids, and I just said, hey, give this to the kids. Let them have it. So I was a little bit concerned that I might get weak. I might give in. But I didn't. And today is the 13th, so I've had a little over 2 months of continuous ketosis. And I'm really kind of excited about that. So anyway, so those of you who have been kind of wondering if I kind of held out or did I give in and eat my treats, haven't done that yet. My goal is to go till at least the week of Christmas, and possibly I might give myself permission to have some of my traditional holiday treats like pumpkin pie and just all the goodies that I like. But then again, part of me is kind of thinking, well, if I do that, then I'm going to have to spend another 2 or 3 months possibly getting back into ketosis. And one of the things that I have discovered and I appreciate to this day is the fact that the hunger pangs that you normally get when you're eating lots of carbs and especially lots of sugar, those are gone. I go probably at least 18 hours, sometimes 24 hours before I eat my next meal, without gnawing, ravenous hunger pains. And if I eat a bowl of oatmeal and a banana, I'll be ravenous within 2 hours. And I hate that. That doesn't mean that I'm not aware that, I could probably eat a little something, but hunger doesn't overpower me. I don't have the overpowering, if you will, the hunger pangs that come when we normally are consuming, excess carbohydrates and sugar. So one of the things about the ketogenic diet, which is true, at least I've experienced it myself, is they say it eliminates hunger, and in a real sense, it does do that. Now that doesn't mean that, again, like I said, you're not aware that I'm a little hungry. I mean, if somebody invited me to have a meal after, say, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I could say I'd enjoy that, but I'm not like ravenous where I've got to eat something. Whereas when I eat lots of carbohydrates and especially sugar, I'm constantly hungry. So I'm really grateful about that. So it seems like that's helped. They talk about clarity in your thinking. Possibly, I'm not 100% sure because I've never been very clear in my thinking to begin with. So possibly, I would say, there's been some clarity that where I'm not totally scatterbrained. I don't feel totally brain fog. Yeah, brain fog, I would say I don't notice that. I guess I'd have to say, in retrospect, for the last few weeks, being under kind of a lot of stress, even though, maybe in some ways looking back and saying, well, I've been under a lot of stress lately, so maybe I'm just not aware that I was probably functioning better than I would have. Possibly, even though I don't know if I certainly made some right calls and decisions in the last few weeks, I've been able to deal with some difficulties, and even though it hasn't been totally satisfactory, part of that maybe was beyond my control. But at the same time, it was like, okay, it's like a ship in a storm. Well, when a storm starts, takes over, and you're in the middle of it, you're going to get wet. There's going to be a lot of turbulence. There's going to be a lot of rocking and rolling. There's going to be a lot of wind. There's going to be a lot of, so it's just that's probably, you're not going to be, calm seas and everything's going to be hunky-dory, but at the same time the ship is shipworthy, so it's seaworthy. So anyway, maybe I look back on it and I think, well, okay, yeah, maybe I had a lot of stress, but at the same time I was able to cope a lot better than maybe I normally would have. So I have to say that possibly, and it's not, I don't want to make it exaggerate, try to quote unquote sell this thing to you, just trying to be honest. And again, no hunger pangs, which is wonderful. One of the things that I've also said in my last video is that I can go on a certain ketogenic meal for over 8 hours between the next feeding. So if I have my traditional bacon and eggs on, say, like I normally have on Saturday, at 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning, I probably won't need to eat anything until 6 o'clock that night. No problem. Again, going 8 hours with just one meal, a simple meal like that, I think is pretty doggone incredible. Because in my old days when I was eating lots of carbs and sugar, I was probably eating 3 or 4 meals, and it just wasn't good. So anyway, so that's all I wanted to share with you all tonight. A little tech, a little talking to all you guys and gals that send little messages, and I'll try to respond to some of those when I can. Again, thank you to all of you who do take time to watch, and sorry if these videos are a little too long sometimes. Maybe I should make them a little more frequent so they're not so long. But again, I thank you for listening to me on my rambling on my little tech adventures, and my little opinions about tech. I'm not. Oh, by the way, Star Wars is coming up pretty soon, and looking forward to that. I guess it's funny because I went into a lot of stores to look at some holiday and, shall we say, Christmas decorations, and they've got Star Wars all over the place, for the holidays, I guess, because it's coming out in December. It's going to be interesting. I hate to say this, but it's either going to be really great or it's going to be really dreadful. Again, as a young person back when I was young, and seeing the very first Star Wars and having that take my breath away from the very first opening scenes, I don't know if they can ever recapture that. And it's interesting because even though it was kind of the beginning of the special effects, feature films, they certainly incorporated the special effects to really tell the story. You weren't looking at the special effects per se. You were looking at, it was calling attention to the storyline, and that was the magic of it, because it would allow your imagination to unfold this really fun story, and it didn't get lost in, oh, look at this cool special effect. I mean, it just, again, the special effect enhanced the storyline. And I think in many movies today, all they do is they want to show off a special effect, which might be really cool, and it has nothing or very little to do with creating character and the story. So my problem is that, I get really bored with just people flashing lots of cool special effects because they can do it, at least it's keeping somebody employed, at Pixar or Industrial Light and Magic, and I'm not putting those folks down because, again, they're invaluable to telling a good story. But you've got to have a good story, and you've got to stay on story, because the moment it starts getting into, look at all these cool special effects that we can do, you lose that real magic. The magic's in the story, not in the effect. We all know that. Okay, so anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. And remember, light up your world, light up your pipe. See you now.